some do it through music, some do it through photo albums. Our next guest does it with clothing.
It's true.
Yes.
You've heard it all the time. You are what you wear, you know?
Whether it's dressing up to impress a love interest or dressing down to blend in with the crowd, clothes can play a major role in the lives of a young woman. It's a topic that actually inspired the book, Target Underwear and a Vera Wang Gown. Here to tell us more about it, please welcome the book's author, Adena Halpern. Adena, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome home.
Thank you very much. I'm very happy to be home.
First of all, what a great title. I mean, talk about two opposites. You have your Target underwear and then $4,000 Vera Wang gown.
Exactly, and that was the whole reason for it, because here you have the economic side of the Target underwear, and then you have the insanely expensive Vera Wang gown, and somehow everything meets in the middle. And in the end, it doesn't really matter how much anything costs, but it's the memories that go along with wearing these items.
So you looked at your closet at some point and realized that that closet was telling your life story.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the Vera Wang gown. I had bought the gown about 10 years ago after breaking up with my college sweetheart, who I'd been with for 9 years.
Who also taught you how to dress.
Yeah, he pretty much taught me how to dress. Growing up here in suburban Philadelphia, I grew up in the 80s and had the teased hair and the leggings and was kind of pathetic, and went to New York University for college and saw this incredibly gorgeous guy in this really cool leather jacket and fell immediately in love. And looking at what he wore, I wanted to be as cool as him, as women kind of tend to do. And so after we started dating, I started wearing the leather jackets and
the black, the all
and
black.
Exactly, try to be slick and cool. Anyway, years later, we had broken up, and to drown my sorrows, I impulsively, at 26 years old, I had no money, and I purchased a $4,000 Vera Wang gown.
Wait a minute, couldn't you eat French fries or some mashed potatoes or something?
I know, it was impulsive and stupid, and yet, in a way, it was the smartest thing I ever did.
But the best part about it, you didn't buy it because you were going to a wedding or something.
No, I didn't. I wore it for the nights when I was really, really depressed and heartbroken. And what I would do is I would put it on, and I would put on some makeup, and I would put on some fabulous heels, and I would literally just walk around my house. I would talk on the phone. I would order a pizza. I would be in front of my computer. And then I did that for about a year. And then I just sort of didn't need it anymore. My depression was ending, and it sat in the closet. A couple years later, it was still sitting in the closet. I thought, I'm going to sell this to a resale shop. I went to a resale shop, put it up for sale. That night, I was lying in bed going to sleep, and I started to get really depressed, because there was something, I had spent so much money on it. It took me so many years to pay off, and I was just going to sell it when it had meant so much to me and made me feel so good. The next morning, I went back to the resale shop to get it, and they had already sold it.
Ooh.
So, yeah, so I was really upset about it. And as a writer, I went home and I wrote about it, and how it made me feel, and how that dress had really picked me up and made me feel better after such a heartbreaking time. And then I thought, wait, this is a great idea for a column or a book. And I started to look at the things in my closet that had memories to them, and friends, and like we talked about my college sweetheart and his cool leather jacket that made me fall in love with him. And so that was the whole basis for the column, which was in Marie Claire, and now it's turned into a book.
And there's a little something in this book that everyone can relate to. You go through your whole years of life talking about when you were 10 and you were into Madonna, and I'm sure so many little girls can relate to that.
Oh,
and then moving on to college and having that heartthrob crush, and then the Vera Wang gown, and look at you now.
Absolutely.
I never got to the Vera Wang Gown stage.
There's still time, Bill.
But I think the most important thing is, no matter if we're passionate about clothing or not, I think for the most part we can all say that there is that piece of clothing in our closet, whether we wear it a lot or we'll never wear it again, but for some reason we just can't throw it away because of the memories that are attached to it.
Not the financial value.
Inside cover of the book, it says that you have used clothes to conform, seduce, console, show off, and to hide. So I wonder what this says today.
Well, I wanted to look snazzy because I was going to be on television.
Hey, audience, does she look snazzy? He sure does. Well, you'll be looking snazzy tonight. Is your book signing?
Yeah, my book signing is tonight at the Barnes & Noble in Bryn Mawr at 7 o'clock.
There you go. Stop by and say hi to Adena Halpern. It's also kind of a tour through Philadelphia shopping, too. If you've ever bought anything in the Philadelphia area,
a lot of the
you'll
store names
recognize
are
If
these
you
stores.
want to reminisce, if you remember Oodles and Mushka back in the 80s, Plage Tahiti downtown, which is still here, it's a lot of fun.
Adena,
Enjoy it.
congratulations on the new book. Thanks for coming
so
to visit
much.
us here at 10.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We'll be right back with more of 10.
Every woman has a favorite pair of shoes, a favorite shirt, or an outfit that really makes them feel on top of the world. Come on, admit it, it's true. And for our next guest, it was a $4,000 Vera Wang gown. Author Adena Halpern joins us in studio now to talk about her new book, Target Underwear and a Vera Wang Gown. This is such a great read. It really is. But first of all, you're struck by the title, Target Underwear and a Vera Wang Gown. What is that about? How did you come up with that?
Well, and because the book is a memoir of everything I wore in my life, it starts with the more economic side, the Target underwear, which is obviously very inexpensive, and it goes to the gamut of $4,000 for a Vera Wang gown. And in the middle, of course, is all the other items that bring back memories.
So give everybody at home an idea of what we'll find in these pages.
It's basically, I think for the most part, we all have that certain item of clothing, whether we're clothes whores or not, or whatever, sorry, that we have a piece of clothing in our closet that we might never wear again, but we can't ever throw it away because of the memories that come with it.
Right.
My dad, for example, is 77 years old. His lifeguard jacket from when he was 16 as a lifeguard on the beach in Margate, he still has it, won't throw it out.
Exactly.
So,
and when we put on clothes, they can change our mood, can't they?
oh, absolutely.
They empower us sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. I could have put on a t-shirt and jeans today, but I thought, no, I'm going to put on a pretty dress.
And very glamorous indeed you look.
And feel glamorous.
So clothes are much more than just what we put on.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They heighten our mood. They can also make us feel sad if we don't like what we're wearing.
And the thing, too, that, you know what you bought that Vera Wang gown for. I mean, it was $4,000, a very special event. But you can also remember what everybody else was wearing at certain events during your life.
Yeah.
And I think all of us can say the same thing.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. I could have cured cancer with, if I took away the knowledge of knowing what everybody wears, I could have figured out so many other things, but this is just my forte of remembering what people wore at certain times in their lives.
You grew up in the Philadelphia area. We've already talked about some of the places that we both shop. But in Los Angeles, explain the difference between East Coast fashions and West Coast fashions, because there is a difference, is there not?
There is a difference, actually. On the East Coast, people are more label conscious than they are on the West Coast.
Really?
Yeah.
I would think it would be the other way around.
You'd think. But you know what it is? My theory, I think people spend more on their cars than they do on their bags. People on the East Coast, especially in major cities, whereas in, say, Los Angeles, we're always in our cars. We want to show off our cars more than we do. Nobody's really going to see our Marc Jacobs bag. So that's what I think the big difference is.
Those have always played an important role in your life. Can you explain that for us?
I think it really stems back to my childhood. I had a mother and a grandmother who I can only remember growing up and shopping with them on Lord & Taylor and City Line Avenue and Saks Fifth Avenue and Nanduskin downtown and Bonwood Teller. And I think it's just the memories of, maybe it was because that was the time that I could be with them alone. And
Bonding with them.
Exactly,
Absolutely.
bonding with them. And so I think that that's why that holds a special place for me, and I'm sure many other women as well.
Now, the stories in here are really funny, and I think that we can all see a bit of us in these stories as well, because you talk about everything from, growing up and you had to have what everybody else had, even if it didn't look good on you.
Absolutely.
I remember I wanted the bell bottoms and I wanted the low waisters. They didn't look good on me, but I had to have it because everybody else had it.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. You don't, the whole point of my book, I'm not a fashionista, but what I am is, just like you said, I'm every girl who ever had to have the item that all the other girls had, whether it looked good on me or not.
And you know what struck a chord for me too is, like, I will stand in the closet for like a half an hour trying to figure, full of clothes, but I have nothing to wear.
Yeah.
And so many women are like that. You know, they have all these clothes and you're just like, I don't know what to wear because I just don't have anything.
Yeah. Well, that was one of the ideas in the book, and it's one of the chapters in the book called "Please Excuse My Absence Today as I Have Nothing to Wear."
Right.
And it actually happened one morning. I had a big presentation, and I could not find a thing to wear. And I was actually late to the presentation, and I didn't even want to show up. And I know I'm not alone in that. That one actually got a lot of letters. This came from actually a column that I had in Marie Claire magazine. So I got a lot of letters about that one, that people completely knew where I was coming from with that.
And I know that you, just like your father, there are some things you just don't want to give up because of the memories, and I know I kind of feel the same way. Target Underwear and a Vera Wang Gown, a great read. Adena Halpern is the author, and thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.